I'm going to get to the individual kids, and I have something to say about all of them because I've known them all for a long time. But collectively as a team, I cannot tell you as a coach how much fun it was and how rewarding it was, and I'm getting emotional to watch these kids do it. They did all the work. Literally, they wanted it. So, I'll be one more minute, I'm going to get to the kids. Right before the regional final, after we lost the first game of the regionals, actually it was right before that, I told these kids, I sat them down, and I said, guys, you're set up to win this and go to California. Right now you're set up. We had to win one more game, and in order to lose, we would have had to lose twice. And I told them all, I said, guys, the baseball gods have spoken. They want you to win this. Now it's up to you guys. I'm done. If you want this, go get it. Because you guys are ready to do this. And to their credit, they got beat, and then they went and they had a little lunch, and a half hour later, they regrouped themselves and they came back and they went to California. It was unbelievable to watch them do it, and it was awesome, and it was exciting, and it was emotional. It was everything I thought it would be. And these kids were just unbelievable. When given the opportunity to take something or go get it, they went and they got it. And that's something that you should, as parents, you should be so proud of what they did individually, but more importantly, collectively as a team. They picked each other up. I watched these kids pick each other up the entire tournament. It was unbelievable. So, with that said, I'd like to start recognizing all of them individually. We have certificates from Little League. We have a Little League World Series pin, and we also have medals that they've all gotten. Okay, so I'd like to give those out. I want to say a little something about each one of them because they are individually so important to me and to us as a coaching staff. It's amazing. So I'm going to start with one of our players who unfortunately couldn't make the trip to California. But without him, without him, I promise you, if he's not on this team, we're not going to California. It ain't happening.
So true.
He played second base and shortstop as good as anybody that's ever played for me. He was, for those guys that are old enough to remember Kevin Elster, he doesn't know why I call him Kevin Elster, but I do, because he makes every play. Every play makes it look easy, just throws it over there, makes the play, give me the next ball, and he's a pleasure. He's the sweetest kid in the world, and he knows that I love him. I'm going to say that about all of them because I love them all. Rocco Deletta.
We love you too.
All right, so now these are some of the All right, so tell me about this guy. He was playing Farm League as an 11-year-old. He was the biggest kid I've ever seen in Farm League. And then, so we have a rule at LA American that if when the 12-year-olds get drafted, if you need a certain amount of 12s, you can forego your first round draft pick and take the 12th. I needed a catcher. He was big enough to be my catcher, and I knew he could do it. And honestly, I told him this last year. He caught every game for me as a 12-year-old. He made the All-Stars. He's got one of the most aggressive swings of all times. He always, and I mean this, he always asks, what more can he do? He shows up to every practice, just wants to be, he's coach, what can I do? Coach, what can I do? Did I do good? He's the greatest kid in the world, and I have to say, I called his mom yesterday to tell him. Because my son Andrew was with us on a trip. And Andrew said to me, Dad, it was like 2 nights before we were leaving. He was the nicest kid on the team. And I didn't know what he was going to say. I actually thought he was going to say DePaulo. Because he was following DePaulo around like a little lost bird. But so I wasn't sure what he was going to say. And I said, no, Andrew, who? And he said, Jaden Velez. And I said, you know what? I said, you're right. He's the sweetest kid in the world. He does anything I ask. He played hard. He even lied to me.
I did not lie.
So he would pitch. So he would pitch in the Little League World Series, and I believed him. And he got the pitch
for the stretch.
But I'm very proud of what he did because he's come a long way since playing Farm League only 2 years ago. He's come a long way, and he can play for me anytime. Jaden Velez. been waiting a long time to do this, so if they're a little long, I'm sorry if I go long, but these are things I've been wanting to tell these kids for a long time because I'm really proud of them. This kid was an all-star. I remember him from Farm League. I didn't have him in Farm League, but I remember him, and I always was a big fan of his. When he made it as a 10-year-old all-star, I will never forget the very first practice we had. I hit him in the face with a line drive, but I didn't hit him in the face. He was so aggressive. I was doing a drill. I do this drill called no doubles. Because when we get to all-stars, if you don't let singles turn into doubles and doubles turn into triples, you can actually win games. So I play this thing called no doubles. And we're doing this drill. And he's in center field. And what I do is I hit the ball into the left center or right center gap. I make him rush it and run down. He got such a quick jump on the ball as I hit it. He ran after it. I said, oh my God, he's going to get to this. He's going to get to this. Puts his glove up, bang, right up his face, glasses break, cuts his eye. You want to know something? He bounced right back. He went and got stitches. How many stitches did he get? Chris, where's Chris? How many stitches did he get? He got glued. He got glued. He got glued. I remember. Was right back because he wanted to play. And he has never, ever given me anything but all that he's got from the very first day he was an all-star. He's been on every all-star team. He's played left field almost exclusively and done a great job. And actually, for those of you that remember Kevin's perfect game, Kevin threw a perfect game last year against Livingston. Somebody made a play that was so critical. I mean, and that person, I'm about to announce his name, made a play that kept that perfect game intact. And it was unbelievable. And he will always play on my team whenever he wants to. He works hard for me all the time. I love him to pieces. Chris Sarno. Here's a kid that I wish I would have had in Little League because he stole about 80 bases against me, all in Little League. Every time he got on base. And he pitched great against me. I never got him out. I think he batted 1,000 against me in 3 years in Little League. But again, he's such a great kid. You just love having him on your team. And I joked, there's an old saying about, I think they said it about Willie Mays, but I said it to one of the reporters. I said, 70% of the earth is covered in water. The rest of it covered by Ryan Rock. The kid just goes and gets the ball. No matter where it is, he wants it. He goes and gets it. If he would embrace bunting as good as he is at doing it, he'd be unbelievable. Almost every time he gets up, I go, Rock, put my arm around him. I'm like, Rock, if this guy's back, lay the bunt down because you can get on base. And I know he doesn't want to bunt. He wants up there swinging. But he's unbelievable. He's such a great kid. And he's a great teammate. Everybody loves him. And like I said, he goes and gets every ball that's anywhere near him. Always gives me tough at-bats. And love him to pieces. Ryan Rock.
There you go, Rock. You can't score 80 bases in 3 years.
All right, so this kid, I met him when Jonathan was 7 or 8 years old, travel soccer, his first experience I had with him. And he was bigger than everybody, more aggressive, pushing everybody all over the field. But I knew that he was an athlete. I knew the kid could just play from the minute I saw him. And he was playing over on the east side. And I always kept my eye on him. I said, this kid's gonna be good. Every time we played him, he always gave me fits, no matter what. And I was so happy that he came over to play with us this year because I told him at the beginning of the tournament, I said, I don't know where you're gonna play today. You might start at second base, you might play right field. I know I'm gonna need you at first at some point. You might slide over to third. No matter where I put him, he just went out there and did it. No matter what. No matter where it was, he played the position. I was going to try to get him in every position, but I couldn't make it happen. But if I would have asked him to catch, and I know he wanted to pitch, but no matter what I asked him to do, he would do it. No matter what. And he always seemed to come through with a big hit when we needed it. during the process of the tournament, he'd get hits down the right field line, and I told him embrace that all the way because he does it as good as anybody. He lets the ball get deep, he hits it the other way, and he does it as good as anybody. But he played every position that I asked him to, and he did it well. So it is very, very, very much my honor to have him part of this team. Eric Thompson.
Oh, we gotta relax now.
So this next player has been playing on my team. I have pictures of him winning since Farm League. He's been on my team since Farm League. His family is like family to me. And I've watched him get better and better and better every single year. He never ever does anything without smiling. He can't lay off a pitch above his hands, even though every time he gets up, I say, don't swing nothing above your hands. And first pitch, he swings it up his hands, and he smiles at me because that's the way he is. But if you guys were watching the games this tournament, if you're watching on TV, I think they called him the cool customer. When he pitches, he just goes up there and throws. It's almost like he's fearless when he pitches. He's just like, here you go. And if I tell him I need this, keep it low, keep below the belt. We got to work down. He throws it down low. If we want to work outside, he throws it outside. He just hits his spots. He comes in, he gets it done. He's been doing it since Farm League. Literally since Farm League. He pitched me in Farm League, same day. Threw strikes like a pitching machine. And always gets it done. Always gives me a quality at bat. Always does it with a smile on his face, which I love more than anything. And I gotta honestly say, when Andrew asked me who's the nicest kid in the team, I actually thought this is what he was gonna say. Because he is by far one of the nicest young men I've ever met in my life. And I went to Cooperstown with me last year, played hard for me, made it all the way to California, came in an almost impossible situation. Those of you watching the games, you guys think I was nuts when I took Kevin out at 1-1? Yep. I said, what are you doing? I knew that he would keep the game close. I knew it, and I had no fear when I took the ball out and I gave it to him. I knew that he would keep it close, and he did. Got two guys out, got the next two guys out in the first inning, then a couple balls started falling in. But I never had a doubt that he would do it. I had that much confidence in him no matter what he does. Third base, he's making plays, making them easy, comes in, pitches, and gets it done. It is my pleasure. Jake LaMonaco.
Jake Hurst.
All right, so this is an interesting one because I don't have a lot of history with him in baseball. I met him this year for the first time as far as baseball. I remember him from the east side. He's become friends with, and one of the things about this team that I love is that these guys are all classmates, are all friends. I was talking to Coach Gargiulo about it. You guys are a middle school baseball team. I don't know why we don't have middle school baseball, but I know when I was growing up we did. You guys are equivalent. You're the equivalent of a middle school baseball team. You're all classmates. You all play together. And I have to say, before I get to what he does and what a big part of this team he was, when I first got to know the team, I forget who I was with, and it might have been Joey Haynes, and I know Jonathan was there, Joey was there. There was a bunch of them. And I said, guys, who's the funniest guy on this team? And I was blown away by the answer I got. But then he lived up to it because I didn't know at the time. Everybody said Anthony DePaula. And I said, and to his credit, he is. I found it, he concreted it this whole week. But I will tell you, I was so pleasantly surprised at what a nice piece he's filled in on this team. He played third base, he played outfield, but every at-bat, he was going to put the bat on the ball. Always did. Out on his front foot all the time, but that hockey eye-hand coordination thing, you just knew it was going to work, and he does it. Tell him how to, when you're in the batting cage with him, you tell him, yeah, just keep your hands back, keep your hands back. Boom, he's out on his front foot, but he hits it hard every single time. And you need kids like that. You need kids that when you know they're gonna give you a nice hard at bat, and he did it every single game from the regular season games all the way through all the playoffs. Every time he got up, he gave me a good at bat and hit the ball hard. He went on a little tear. He was hitting doubles and triples. It was such a pleasure to watch. And he was a pleasant surprise because I didn't know at the beginning of the year when I was talking about making this all-star team because we had to cut down from 17 players. And he absolutely earned his way on this team. And not only did he earn his way, but when he was on this team, he contributed in every single way I could have possibly asked. And you are awesome. Anthony DePaolo. All right. This one's an interesting one. This, you guys, as soon as I tell you what it is, you're gonna know who it is. But I got some stories I want to tell about him because I've not met many kids who are this athletic at this age. Okay? He already knows I'm talking about him. He's smiling. But I will tell you, I call him the Miles Show because when he decides to put on the Miles Show, he takes over. I watched him do it in basketball. I've seen him do it in football. He did it for me. When it's time for him to take over, he takes over. And there are not many kids that can do that. Some kids run away from that, and I get it. Some kids, he runs to the spotlight. And he did it all season long. And as good of a player as he is, he's an even better young kid because he's a great kid because in the games, when we were playing our regular season games, we were playing against teams that we could easily beat. And I was rotating every kid in and out. He never complained about it. He actually, when I don't know if he knows that I remember this, he had a travel game in Diamond Nation with his team that he was playing with at the time, and we were playing over in Clifton. And he made sure that, I don't remember who dropped him off here, it was you or Lenny, but he wanted to make sure he got to our game. He only stayed for like 3-4 innings, but he wanted to play with his friends. And again, that's what makes this team so special. He wanted to play with his friends. As good as he is, probably one of the best players on his travel team. He loves playing with his friends. And every time I asked him to step up, he did. I would joke around, and it wasn't even a joke, by the time at the end of the tournament, I would put my arm around him the day before he was pitching, and I'd be like, hey bud, it's time for the Miles Show. It's time for the Miles Show. He started to buy into that. He would lead up the game with a home run. Every time I said it's a Miles Show coming down, he'd lead up the game, boom, home run. 4 times he hit home runs to lead up the game. 4 times. It was incredible. But he always responded. He pitched lights out for me whenever I asked. He made plays at shortstop like nobody's business. And he hits the hell out of the ball. And he's a great athlete. He's going to be a big part, hopefully, of Nutley's future. We're going to make sure we keep him in Nutley because he's a great little player. But he can play for me whenever, and I love you pieces. Miles Gomez. Alright, so actually, you know what? I gotta do it first. I was gonna save that next one, but I'm gonna do this one first because it's gonna get really emotional. So we have someone who is extremely special. I think everyone knows it because you saw it. Struck out 14 kids in one game on national television against a really good team, and did it almost effortlessly. I remember him vividly from B-ball. I remember him from B-ball, and I said, who is that kid? He is enormous. And he had a swing then that if the ball got in the way of his bat when he was 6, he hit it like he was 13. He had one swing and one swing only. And it started down here and it came high, but if that ball got in the way, it was going. And I just watched this kid get better and better and better and better and better. And he has so much room to grow. It's incredible. He's going to be something special. I promise you. Someday he's he's going to be signing professional autographs someday. That's how good he's going to be. But the story about him is deeper than that. As good as he was and as dominant as he was through Little League, because he dominated Little League. And then he goes out and he throws a perfect game against Livingston, which I will forever love him for. Because I think and then he comes out in the first round against Chester Mendham and almost throws another perfect game. He walked one kid and he wasn't able to finish because he threw 95. So I think he did 6 1/3 or 6 2/3 of a perfect game except for one walk. I mean, it's just, he steps up. What he has learned to do that any of the coaches or people that have coached before, he can actually self-correct on a dime. When he feels himself losing it, I see him step off the mound and he just self-corrects and then bam, he's right back into it. It has been a pleasure to watch him get better. But here's the thing that he did this year. First practice that we had as an All-Star team, after we broke the season, we named the 11 kids that were in the All-Star team. He came to practice with a Mid-Atlantic hat from last year. He must have, did you buy it or did you? He bought it. So he had it. And he was wearing last year's Mid-Atlantic hat. And I sat the team down and I just mentioned, I said, you know, guys, if we win this whole thing, we get our own hats. We're going to get our own uniforms. Then we get that. Then people buy our hats. And that's what you guys want. Well, he took that seriously, and I watched it. And honestly, he took it seriously. Not only did he take it seriously, he wanted to do it, and he wanted to take his friends and his teammates to California. When we got interviewed by CBS, I overheard him during his interview saying, I wanted to do this. They asked him about his performance, and he said, I want to do this for my friends. And that's what it's all about. And that's what he's always been about. By far the best pitcher I've seen at this age, probably in my life. He shows it every time he pitches. He hits the hell out of the ball, plays first base as good as anybody. But he's a great friend, a great teammate, and he took these guys to California. They all did it together. I'm not giving any one person any more credit, but he wanted this so bad for his friends, and he did it. Kevin Brown. I had to save these last two for the end because I'm going to get emotional. And I can't help it. I've been watching these two kids. I'm not going to do them together like I did when they were in Little League. I used to always introduce them together. But I'm going to go first with Joey because Joey's like another son to me. I've had him since Farm League. And there's not a kid that loves baseball more than anybody loves football. Joey is. He loves the game. He loves the game so much that he doesn't think he should ever make an out. Ever. And I do mean ever. No matter what. He should bat 1,000 and he should make every play. And he holds himself to really, really high standards because of that. But I would not replace him for the world because he gives me that type of effort wherever he plays from the time he was 8 years old to now he's being 13 years old. Whether he's catching, I move him from third base, and as soon as we get into the tournament time, he becomes my catcher because I need him. I need that type of effort behind the plate. When you're playing at that level, you need someone behind the plate that you can trust that's going to get it right all the time and get it done. And he's been doing it since he's a little kid. He hits every single day. He just wants to hit. And he does. And he does nothing but hit and hit. He's successful. I've watched my son get on base and Joey drive him in so many times that I joke about it. I said, Jonathan, go get on first base and then Joey's going to drive you in. Go get on first, get on second base, Joey's going to drive you in. And they did it through Farm League. They did it through Little League. They've done it through All-Stars. It's endless the amount of times I've seen it happen. It's like reading a book that you know how it's going to end and then it ends exactly the way it's going to end. He's been doing it the whole time. And although so many people in town call me Coach Pete when they see me, when he says it, it's got a little special ring to me. And I am so, I have to say, I'm going to be honest, I haven't told anybody this out loud. That Joey went to the States without me when he was 9. He deserved it, and I know he loved it, And I wanted so much to do something with him that will be a bigger memory for him because I love him that much. And he did this. He was the biggest part of doing this. I hope this stays with you forever. Joey Haynes. All right, I think we know who's last because he had to be last. I know I joked about, you know, promising my wife we wouldn't do this because I did. I promised. I said there's no way we're going to do this. But being able to do this with all these kids, that I love them all to pieces, but obviously not the way that I feel about Jonathan. And it is so special to do this with my son. I don't always tell him how proud I am. To watch him put his team on his back and come pitch. He doesn't pitch a lot. He's been pitching for me since he's a kid. All he does is throw strikes. He plays anywhere I ask him to. He plays center field, plays shortstop. He caught for me with JVK. Always does whatever I ask. He's always on base. He's the most competitive kid I've ever met. All he wants to do is be good at whatever he does, no matter what. And I know I'm extra hard on him because he's my son, but he always delivers for me. Always. He's never failed me. Even when he fails, he doesn't fail me. Because he fails doing exactly what I thought he would do in that particular moment. And when you have that type of reliance on somebody, or that reliability that you believe in somebody like that, it makes it so easy to coach them, but it also makes it hard on him. And I know he's never really had the opportunity to not play for his dad. He's played for a couple in soccer. It's been great. He's played for Coach Lou, and he plays for Anthony. And he competes at such a high level. I know how hard he tries to win all the time, and he always delivers. But to watch him do what he did, and make sure that his team went to California, because I know he was torn. We were going on a vacation to San Diego that he wanted to go in the worst way. And we were leaving the very next day. He was pitching on a Wednesday, and I put my arm around him and I said, Jonathan, I said, look, you can't lose. Because if we do lose, we're going to be in San Diego tomorrow morning. If you win, we're going to be in Northern California on Friday. So you're in a no-lose situation. And I didn't know how he was going to respond. And his determination that day, the way he just said, I'm going to go get this and I'm going to take my team to California, is something that made me proud beyond belief because of the young man that he is. And if you know him, you know what a good kid he is, you know what a good friend he is, a great teammate. But I know what a great son he is. He's the greatest kid in the world. And I could not be more proud of you than Jonathan. Jonathan Bryhoff. All right, so I need to recognize two more people. I do want to recognize all the parents. I recognized you earlier, but one more time. This is something I've always done as a tradition with all my teams. So I'm talking to all you players right now. So Velez, look at me. Rocco, look at me. Listen, this was not easy. Okay? We played a lot during the summer. Then we were traveling here. We were going to Chester. We're going to Princeton. We're going to Long Island. We're going out to California. People that made that happen for you are your moms and your dads who love you guys more than you will ever know. And there are certain times you got to remember to say thank you because they are so good to you and they're so supportive of all of us. So while they're all here on 3, this team is going to turn around and you're going to find your parents if they're here. Hopefully they are. And we're going to say thank you. And you're going to mean it. And you make sure tonight you give them a hug and a kiss and you tell them how much you love them. And say thank you again. But we're going to say thank you on 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. That was me. Now, better than that. A better thank you than that. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you to the parents. So now to my coaches. Now to my coaches, the guys that no matter what it was, covering practices, being there at games, doing whatever it took, all the time.
Are your drinks ready?
That's right, having our drinks ready. And we did celebrate the same way after every game. A little bit of a tradition, and we celebrated the same way. And there are no two people I'd rather celebrate with. They're two of my best friends in the world. They're just great guys, they're great coaches, and I think we have a big thanks to them as well. JP and Joe Hayes. For everyone else that came out today, I know a lot of people left, but that turnout was unbelievable. It blew me away. All of you that made that happen. And I don't know individually everyone who did it, but I know everyone got involved. So thank you so much. And for those of you that are here that are just friends, that are friends of friends, grandparents, thank you so much for coming out and supporting these kids because they deserve it. These kids did something special this year that I hope leads to, hashtag One Nutley. We need to have one Nutley Little League, one team that we show the rest of the world what Nutley baseball can be. But you guys have set the bar for not only being a good baseball team that went to the Little League World Series, but getting accolades and getting compliments from the hotel staff and parents. I'm not even joking. The hotel staff complimented how good our kids were. The two people on the plane on the way home today said how well behaved, what great kids they were. The league themselves came to us and said East was far and away the most interactive. You guys were awesome, and your parents, you guys should be so proud of these kids, not just as players, just as the kids that they are. You raised great kids. They did a great job. They deserve all this, but you guys gave it to us, so thank you for that. They're great kids.
I do not speak like Coach Pete. I'm going to get emotional. There's no one better than this guy right here.